Hi guys, Mickey here, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. So, I wanted to talk about axes today. It's going to be a short video this week. Unfortunately, I've got a lot on and yeah, I've got to be out of the way. So, I want to talk about axes. I see a lot of people discussing axes and that. And I wanted to just put my 5p worth into the box, shall we say. Okay, so let's start with the basics, and I've written down a basic introduction of my thoughts and that. I sat and thought about it last night. So the axe, it's one of the most widely used tools, and it is found in every culture, right, throughout the world. A tool that allows man to adapt his environment to his needs. Okay, if I could carry only one tool into the wild, it would be an axe. Okay. The axe is one of the most versatile pieces of equipment that you could possibly carry. Okay, it will do every job you require, from processing timber, processing game, to fire lighting, shelter building, carving. It is an essential tool. Okay, our ancient ancestors probably prized this tool above all others. Okay, from the very first guy that picked up a piece of stone that had an edge on it, and found that if he struck it against a piece of wood, it would either split the piece of wood or it would cut the piece of wood, and thought to himself, that's handy. And as it evolved, it developed a handle and so forth, various techniques, and then we moved into copper, bronze, and eventually iron. Okay, so it's been with us pretty much since man's been around, I believe. The axe has been used in every culture, and again, not only is it a tool of production and safety, as with the Viking bearded axe, it's a tool of defence, okay, or even offence. Okay, it can be used for many uses. Okay, so let's get into some axes. Let's shut my book. I don't really need that now. Let's shut my book. Let's get into some basic axes. And you'll all seen this one hanging up behind me. And this is, I made this myself in the forge, based on a Viking bearded axe design. Okay, and the bearded axe has this cutout. This is the beard. Okay, now that has many uses. It's always been described to me as something designed to pull the shields of your enemies down so that the guys behind you could come in with a spear. Possibly so. But I also think that that could be used for pulling grain into bunches to be sliced off. It could be hooked over a branch to pull a branch down. I think it was something that was developed for many uses. It also allows the axe to be used that way around. Okay, you can hold it there, and again, historians have come to realise we always have this picture of the Viking driving his axe into people, but a lot of cultures that used an axe not just as a tool but as a weapon would quite often use that side, the blunt side. Okay, it can be used to knock somebody out, it can be used to break bones, it can be used to disable somebody you didn't actually want to kill. Okay, if you were taking prisoners or you were taking, I don't know, slaves, okay, maybe that end would be the tool to use over that end. So again, many uses, and that's, I based that on a design I'd seen on a Viking axe, really to see if I could do it, and it is a good tool. One of the nice things about the bearded axe design is it has a very large cutting edge, right, and low weight, and the low weight allows it to be used as a carving tool. And this is something I noticed after I made it. If I wanted to use it for carving and processing things, with the beard my hand can come up under the axe and I have a lot of control then to actually work that as a cutting edge or a carving edge. Okay, so I actually think part of that bearded design was that. It was so that you could get more control on it to use it for other jobs. Okay, it was a multi-tool of its time. And the reason I want to show you this one was, one is the grind's nice and proud on that. So you can see it's got a convex grind on it. Now, convex grind is designed to split, so there's a very fine edge, and as you strike, that convex shape, which is that shape, splits the wood or whatever you're hitting, right, and causes the fibres to spread apart rather than the edge just slicing in and jamming. Okay, and on an axe like that, which has a very, very thin profile here, if you drove it into a piece of soft wood or a rotten stump, what I've had in the past is where it's come in and the stump's actually come in, sunk up to here, and this has become jammed. Okay, well, it's got long handles, so it's not too much of a problem. I can lever it out. Okay, but that's my take on a Viking bearded axe. So, other than that, types of axe you can get, well, that's a dirt cheap budget hatchet. Okay, simple little tool. It's nice and light on the head, and again, I can shrink up on it, and I can work it as a tool. Okay, so it's a nice piece of equipment. The other bonus with an axe is it's a multi-tool. So you have that edge, which you can use as a knife with practice, and again, that takes practice, that takes muscle memory, it takes a little bit of effort, it takes a little bit of time to learn to use. Okay, tricks you can pull. Top of this axe is quite sharp here, so I can in fact use it, set fire to my blanket, I can use that as a striking edge on a ferro rod. Okay, makes it a nice little tool to use. It's a very, very light tool, and again, it was a budget tool. I got this one for my wife, again, so that she had her own little axe that she could use. Great piece of equipment, inexpensive, has a slightly softer metal on the head than a lot of others, but the nice thing with that is if you used it and you misjudged your hit and you hit a piece of stone or a piece of flint, or the wood that you're working has a nail in it that you've not seen, it will deform this edge. But because it's a soft metal, it won't chip it, it will just deform it. You can then file that out and resharpen again, which is very, very handy. If it has a very, very hard edge, yes, you can have it. A very hard edge here means that you can sharpen it to a great deal, and it will hold a very, very fine edge. However, downside of that is if it strikes stone, you can chip quite large areas off of it. Okay, and that takes a lot of work to then reprofile it and put it back. So you have to work out that equation and find that balance for yourself. Just out of interest, I pinched the wife's scales from the kitchen. I'm just going to zero that. And I just want to weigh that up. Okay, so that axe is £1. That head is £1. That's quite nice and light. Okay, that will give me a bit of energy. Split small pieces of wood. I could process game with that. I could sharpen things with it. I could make a spear. I could make stakes. I can make traps. It's a great little tool. Now, if you come up slightly in size and expense, this is an axe that was given to me by my youngest son before he moved to the Czech Republic, and this was a Gransfors Brooks axe that he used for a long time. Now, as you can see here, there is a deformity, okay, and that is because this top edge on this axe is very, very hard, and that corner there hit a stone and it shattered, took it off. Now, I've put a bit of a reprofile back into that, and I've left that little divot in there to remind me to be a bit more careful. But again, that is the difficulty of having a very, very hard axe. But this axe will hold a very, very fine edge. The handle, as you'll see, is a bit more profiled than this one. And the profile is this shape here. Now, This shape here is designed so that when I'm using it this way with force and energy, or putting the maximum force in it, it's not going to slide out of my hand. However, the belly of the handle here allows me to come up and control the head for fine working, and I can come up and really control the head for silly fine working. If I'm processing game, working leather, might be trying to whittle out a spoon or something, I can come right up on that. Okay, so again, hatchets have their place in your toolkit. They're a great piece of equipment. Don't think that you can just go out and buy one and use it straight away. Any of the guys with experience will tell you, it takes time and effort. Go out, practice, 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 practice. Build the muscle memory in your hands to control and use this piece of equipment, because it's like a knife. Okay, you've never just taken a knife and done feather sticks or carved a spoon. It takes time, takes practice, developing the grip, the muscle memory. You also need to build up certain tendons and muscles in your hand and your grip to be able to work it well. So it just takes time and practice, and anybody can master that. Okay, and just out of interest, I'm going to weigh that one off. Okie doke. And that one comes in at 1.5 pounds, so it's slightly heavier. Slightly heavier. It's a slightly deeper axe. Okay, so it's slightly heavier. So again, when I'm driving it, that 1.5 pounds is here, and the speed that I'm driving it forward with creates kinetic energy within the mass of the head of the axe, and that force is delivered by just this area here. If it was a long blade like a machete, the weight of it is spread all the way along, so you're not getting as much energy delivered on that small cutting edge. Hence, an axe is better, in my book, than most other tools for working timber, processing timber. If you're in a rainforest and you're going to use a machete, okay, and a machete will fell a tree, but it will take a lot more effort. Okay, it's a lighter tool, but that is a pain in the backside if you're trying to clear undergrowth. Okay, so it's having tools, horses for courses. What I have found is when you're with indigenous people in rainforests, axes are prized items and are held back for use on heavy timber. The everyday carry will be a parang, it will be a go lock, it will be a machete, it'll be a tool like that. That's your everyday carry for moving through the jungle. And yes, you can use them with practice on heavier stuff, however it takes a little bit more effort. So those are a couple of nice wooden handled axes, but we can also go out and buy ourselves from pretty much any hardware shop one of the axes I would recommend to a beginner. In fact, I got this in my kit quite late on, and I love this axe. It is an absolutely brilliant tool. Okay, this is the Fiskars X10, and it is a superbly made, superb piece of equipment, modern engineering. It's a composite handle, it's hollow, so you could actually store things inside that handle if you needed to as a survival tool. Okay, you could pack it out with paracord, whatever you wanted. Okay, because it's a composite handle, it makes it a lighter tool, and the composite does take out some of the shock when you're working. Okay, so one of the things that you can do with this axe that you can't do with the others is it has a longer handle, so it has more driving energy. Okay, the profile on the axe is a modern profile, so it's has a basically what I would describe as a flat Scandi grind on the edge. Okay, that starts the split off, and then it has a very pronounced wedge here, and then it flares out. So for splitting wood, this is an absolutely cracking tool. This splits wood like you wouldn't believe. Okay, it's a brilliant tool. And also this lip here protects the composite where it's bonded to the head of the axe. Okay, now when I first saw this and I first saw them on the market, people said to me, oh yeah, they'll split, they'll crack, they'll break. I've had this one about 5-6 years. I've used it a lot. It's never happened. One of the nice things with it is that flat Scandi grind. I can keep a very, very fine edge on. So again, for coming down on the axe and working it as a tool, a carving tool, or as a knife in an emergency, it's superb, absolutely superb. Okay, a lot of people don't like them. They say, oh, it doesn't look bushcrafty. Okay, if it was a survival situation, I'd take any one of these, but I would probably take that one purely and simply because of its design. It's a modern design. Some engineer has taken the original design of the axe and moved it forward. And again, I'm going to weigh that. £1.8, so that's £1 8 ounces. Okay, great tool, great piece of equipment. One of the things I don't like about it is the straight handle. Funny enough, this flared end is great. It's not going to come out of your hand when you're swinging it. Has a slightly longer handle, so you can put a bit more energy behind it. If you're working it here, it's not so efficient. It's not quite as good. Shrink it up to here, it's absolutely fine. Shrink it up even further, absolutely fine. But for that middle section, it's just a bit flat and it's a little bit clumsy. Okay, and again, the thing you start to notice on that flat edge is how your wrist sits on it. With this, my wrist is straight. Okay, with this, I tend to have to bend my wrist to get to the same angle. But that's the Fiskars axe, and again, with practice and effort, you can master it. Now we come down to things like this, which looks awesome. Oh, it looks deadly. Looks absolutely awesome. It's a survival tool. It's designed to work with a spade or a shovel or a pick, and you've all seen it on my videos. It's a great piece of equipment. However, the axe itself is what I've described as an emergency backup only. It's not a tool I would purposely carry it out into the wild. It's something I have in the car just in case. This axe head is very, very flat. Okay, so when you drive it into something, it has a habit of getting stuck in whatever you drive it into. If it was something, or like I carry it as something in the car purely for maybe clearing debris on the road, it's a great piece of equipment. Okay, but it's not a dedicated axe. Okay, and like a lot of things in this world, you'll find it's either a tool that is designed to be good at one thing, but you can't have a tool that does everything. It just doesn't work out for you. So next we come on to what is described by many people as a small forest axe. And by small forest axe, it's because of the length of the handle and the weight of the head. Okay, it's a medium weight head, and as you see, it's quite a narrow neck on it. Now this tool I picked up probably a year and a half ago, and it was second hand. It was an old chap near me in Reading, and what he does, he buys old tools from all over the place, bill hooks, axes and things, and then he gives them a clean up and he restores them. Now one of the things I liked about this axe is I knew by looking at the patina, the dents and the marks in it, the design in it, it's hand forged. So this axe is probably minimum of 50-60 years old. Good quality steel. Okay, this axe has a very, very hard edge, right, just along the top here, and it's very soft here, very soft. It's a mild steel. Now the great thing with that for me is the energy hits that sharp edge, travels up through the mild steel, gets absorbed by the mild steel before getting into the handle. And the weight of the axe, in actual fact, although it looks a heavy axe, is again £1 8 ounces. Okay, which isn't heavy at all, but with the length of the handle and the fact that it's a two-handed axe, I can drive that and put more energy into that head with the longer handle with less effort, making it an absolutely brilliant tool. And again, we've got the classic convex grind on there, okay, which needs to be worked, needs to be maintained. It's a curved grind. This axe splits fantastic, and this is the one I would probably carry out into the woods with me. Now, I like this shape on this axe head because I can shrink down on this and work it this way. And again, like the bearded axe, my hand comes over the blade at this sort of point, which makes it a lot more controllable for working, as opposed to something that's a bit more flat. Okay, makes it a nice tool. It's a good slicing tool, this one as well. I've found that with a bit of practice, if I want to make feather sticks, I can make feather sticks with that axe. It's a great piece of equipment, and again, muscle memory, practice, effort with it. Now, we then come to that, and I have seen one or two people that get it into their heads, big axe. Okay, that axe head alone weighs 6 pounds. Okay, that's a 6 pound axe head. You then put that on a shaft that is best part 3 foot long, and you could fell trees with it, and I mean fell big trees. You could split timber with it, big timber. Okay, but it is going to take an immense amount of effort and an immense amount of muscle memory to control it and make it accurate. It has a risk of the weight of follow through, and follow through is when you cut into something, it goes right through it, and the arc of the chop keeps going. Now, we've covered that on other videos, and it's why you see me kneeling when I'm cutting. It's why you see me using a block or a stop, so that if my axe goes straight through what I'm chopping, or it glances off of it, it's got something solid to stop it hitting my leg. Because even a 1 pound axe head thrown with momentum, with force by your body, you are not going to stop it. Okay, it's going to keep going. It's a sharp item. It weighs 1 pound in weight, travelling at 30 miles an hour into your leg, your foot. Bad day. Okay, again, brings me back to have your first aid kit on your person. Okay, have your tourniquet, right? Whether you like them or not, learn how to use them, because if you throw that axe into your leg and sever an artery, you don't have 20 minutes to sit around and wait for an ambulance. You have minutes to actually stop that blood loss, or you're in big trouble. So again, I avoid big axes. Now, if it's all you've got, yes, it's what you run with. But this is what you would call a homestead axe. This is the sort of thing you might keep in the shed just for splitting logs. Okay, and that's all you would use it for, and that's axes. Now, hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into axes. It's given you a little bit of a thought towards them and how to use them and their various uses. Most axes have a hard edge, and that hard edge will work absolutely brilliantly on a fire striker. Okay, I don't like using an edge on a fire steel, but if you had to, you could. Okay, so again, it's not something I would say go and do on a regular basis, but if you suddenly found yourself out in the wilds with one tool, it'd be an axe. Okay, get yourself an axe. Don't be fooled into spending a fortune. Find something you're comfortable with, feel it, try it, see how it feels in your hand. Most good knives, good axes, same as good hammers, good saws and good tools, it's about the feel. If you pick it up and you think to yourself, that's comfortable, I feel like I could use that, that feels good in the hand, run with it. Your body and that tool are designed to work together. If you pick it up and you think to yourself, that's really uncomfortable, then either change the handle, change the design, or don't buy the axe. And that's Mickey. That's axes. So guys, Join us on Sunday. I should be back on full steam on Sunday with any luck. Be safe, be good. Take your first aid kit with you. Find your axe, practice with it. Okay? It's the easy thing to do. You can sit in the back garden and have a go at whittling. And I promise you, when you first start, it's going to feel quite alien to you. Right? But practice. Build that muscle memory. You'll get it. Not a problem. Now, this is Mick. Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Please like, subscribe, comment, and ring that notification bell for information on future videos. Right? Join us on Sundays for our live stream. Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. And as ever, peace and light be upon you all. This is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival, out.